Hyperion. Well, good people, look what I found at ROG. This is their new case, their new flagship enclosure that is full tower, that's got a lot of RGB, it's got a lot of really premium features. The ROG Hyperion, and the model number is the GR701. The price point, we are told, is going to be trying to reach around the $500 price point, aiming for that really high-end feature set, cooling performance, materials, and really embracing the ROG fan, because I mean, look at this thing. It is absolutely gorgeous, from paneling, the shapes, the X in the center, following actually a lot of the similar ROG design ID elements that are spread throughout other products, like their new monitor, for example. So the front panel, as you can see, looks really unique with the triangular section with RGB elements, some sort of this ventilation pattern. The handles are built into the chassis frame, so no worries about carrying this massively heavy 20 kilogram enclosure. Are you kidding me? 20 kilograms? It's like a workout material, man. But once the whole system is assembled, no worries of transporting it around your place with these handles. So that's nice. We actually tried to transport it here. It's a no-go, not allowed, okay? Also, by the way, huge thanks to our sponsors for making the CS possible. And of course, ASUS being one of them. Thank you very much. Kind of follows in the similar footsteps of the Helios of trying to do as many ROG things as possible. Still, we have the handles at the top that follow all the way to the bottom as your case feet. So it kind of reminds me of the Cosmos series from Cooler Master, very much in the same structured direction, but of course with a lot of differences. Tempered glass, we have this handle that is brushed aluminum, so make sure to have a nice rag ready to clean that every once in a while. The front panel here is all about LED design, paneling, and also an insane I/O. So we have dual USB-C ports that are 20 gigabits per second. At first I thought, like, this might be good for a dual system configuration, but ASUS makes fantastic motherboards, so you plug those things right in and you're good to go. We also have 4 USB ports like Type A, but on the interior, this is where things get really interesting. So one of these really interesting elements on the power supply shroud is this little cover that you open to reveal a screwdriver placeholder. What? I mean, that's a first for me. There's also a tiny other little compartment that can store little things, you know, like USB receivers, screws, whatever else. It's right beside there, so it's kind of a nice little thing to have. And opening the interior. First of all, notice this awesome power supply cutout that reveals our really cool Thor power supply with that wattage blue LED lighting. This is that cover that I was telling you about that opens here. You can see the screwdriver compartment and also this other small compartment for your little things as well. This really unique GPU holder, anti-sag GPU bracket is included, and it's also, of course, RGB, plugs into your motherboard. Massive GPU support, of course, as you would expect for such a large enclosure. We have up to a 420 radiator support at the front. This is actually one of their new AIOs with matrix dots for the pump. Also, the side ventilation here is right now covered by this RGB bracket that can be removed and can be actually used on the desktop as a separate RGB element, which is really unique. And behind it, of course, we have additional support for fans. You can do a 420 radiator at the top as well as the front, so that's going to be plenty for water cooling support. The top panel is easily removable, so you can access that bracket. The front bracket is also just pops off with 2 screws, and you access that screw through a little compartment over here and here. So I'm hoping the ease of use in terms of working with something like this is going to be nice and simple. And opening up the cable management at the back here, we have an acrylic piece to hide all your cable mess that you don't want to clean up. Obviously, we have this exposed area because if you are mounting any radiators or fans in that installation, we have some ventilation happening, but maybe not so much because of this glass. So we'll see about that. And obviously all your cables get transformed onto the internal chamber for all your cable management. I'm excited to see what type of features that are included here that will trickle down into the lower SKUs. But what is that I see? Is that another Noctua GPU?
Yeah, okay. Actually, It is, Dimitri, because what we have here is the RTX 4080 Noctua edition. You might remember I covered the RTX 3070 version. This one is basically the same thing, but there are a couple of refinements. First of all, it is of course using the RTX 4080. There's no plans yet to do the RTX 4070 Ti or an RTX 4090 version, but if there's enough popularity for this card, they're going to look into doing it. The other thing I wanted to mention very, very quickly is the refinements that are made. You're not going to see any really physically. It's still that same pretty massive, about 4-slot design. It's got the 2 Noctua NF812 fans, but internally, the heatsink itself has been updated a little bit in order to support the additional thermals of the RTX 4080. So it has been beefed up just a little bit. Other than that, ASUS did give us a couple of little hints about what is coming up. So first of all, they are looking to reintroduce the turbo version of cards. And if you don't remember what the turbo version is, a couple of years ago, that was their blower style cards. A lot of ITX users have actually been asking for those blower cards back. Is that something that you guys actually want? Because there are going to be a couple of sacrifices with those blower cards. First of all, they are going to be a lot wider than some of these designs that we've already seen, like the Strix, like the Noctua. So that might be very limiting for a bunch of ITX SFF users. Even though they are going to be wider, they're going to be a little bit less high. So they're trying to aim for 2 slots. One last little bit of information that they let leak is the fact that they might be trying to come out with the new premium version. So basically the Matrix, the Poseidon, maybe even a Mars edition card. Is that something that you guys want too? Because those premium editions are going to be even more expensive than something like the Strix. And we already know the kind of premiums these things have. So anyways, a lot of questions for you guys. I'm going to go on to the next thing with Dimitri, and that is another case.
And then we also have this little guy, the GT502 from the TUF division. We have not reviewed this officially. I just want to really check it out here on the show floor. But dual chamber designs have been really popping out lately. We have this tempered glass at the front to reveal all your stuff, the side fans, the bottom stuff. Of course, it has massive GPU support over there, no problems. So you can do a 360 radiator at the bottom, it looks like. Actually, probably not radiator just because it's going to eat into your motherboard area. But the top is not a problem at all. And that's actually one of the reasons why we want to show you this case, because we have an unreleased TUF AIO. Here's a close-up of that unreleased TUF 360 AIO. That pump design looks awesome, something from like a fallout shelter. I really like the 4 LEDs that are illuminated that match the rest of the aesthetic. I'm sure that can change up in color for illumination. The tubes also look a little thicker, and of course having that pump over here instead of built into the block, something reminiscent from a Be Quiet brand. So we shall see. And so that, my friends, is all the goodies from ASUS here. Fantastic new high-end enclosure, the ASUS keyboard, the new Harp mouse. I'm getting a whole set of this, so definitely stay tuned for my full experience. And so far, I really appreciate what ASUS is doing with the keyboard community, especially with all the accessories that are included. Here is absolutely crazy. So let us know what you think of the things you saw today, and I'll see you in the next video.